Hey everyone, it's January 18th. We got a morning market update, a DJT. Let's dive into this chart and make some sense of it. So you can see here on the right-hand side, the 30-minute chart, we had mapped out a potential scenario where we looked for a gap fill and a cheat entry, which we got. And then we were looking for a pullback. And then actually, I was recording before, so our price action looked like this. Move this over like that. Yeah, because I messed up my recording before. So if we actually move this over like I just did, you could see that's where this played out, and this stop, right? We could be placed here, right? Get the entry, or that stop could be placed here, or that stop could be placed here on the intermediate time frame, right? And that 5-day moving average flat to rising, and now it's up and rising, right? So let's take that off the chart. And now what we want to do, well, we'll leave it for now. And as we go through this trend trade, right, we want to take some profits into the rip, into daily R2. And this is Brian Shannon's strategy. Shout out to Alpha Trends. And we take profits at daily R2, right? Once we take profits, we'll keep the initial balance. Once we break the support and we get above, we move our stop up to here, right? Once it breaks above, you could move another stop up to there, right? So what happens? You get stopped out in the gap down in the morning, right? Or you wait in the open and set a stop under the 5-minute low, and then you get stopped out on another set of the balance. And you could still accept some of this risk at the initial stop. So what happens with price action? It pulls back to that month-to-date VWAP as it breaks underneath the week-to-date, right? Rejects the week-to-date, gaps above the week-to-date VWAP, trades sideways, right? We can kind of see we're kind of slowly climbing the wall of worry, and then we break out to a new high right up in this area. Again, this is a big push up, 25% in one day. So we make a new high, get everyone really excited, and then from failed moves comes fast moves. We break underneath the daily VWAP, trade underneath into the 2-day here at 41.65, right? Get a new low under daily VWAP, reject the 2-day, get a little bit of supply at the week to date, not much, and then come down to the month to date VWAP. Okay, so now we're getting to this. We could see here, and this is on the bigger time frame where we rallied into the all-time high volume weighted average price, the orange line. Okay, so what we could see here on the higher time frame is we had this mapped out scenario when we talked about this trade. We were looking for that pump into here, get everyone really excited. That's a 25% rally on one day. Let's digest these gains and what we had mapped out. And I still would prefer the situation, and it looks like it may be happening right now on the intermediate time frame. If this rallies up and this breaks, we will start to see a sequence of lower lows and lower highs, right? And that 5-day moving average will start to become a little neutral as we add the data up here on Monday. So Tuesday actually, because it's a holiday Monday. So we'll add this data. So maybe on Monday, price undercuts this VWAP a little bit, rallies back above, then comes back into this 38 area, 37. Then it kind of starts to set up sideways and then gets to go. So, and then our 5-day moving average, which just kind of looks something like this, get a little bit neutral and then get going again. So this could be a potential scenario that we look for over the next week now, is that we get a shakeout back underneath the month-to-date VWAP a little bit. And you could see here on the daily time frame that this level of resistance could then become support. And if we zoom into this daily chart, DJT has been doing a really good job doing this, where it rallies up, makes resistance, right? All in this area. Rallies, breaks above it, right? It tries to act as support. It's resistance, resistance. And then we finally get that flip right? So now that resistance becomes support. We rally up to this area, right? So hopefully now we can look in here. Let's make this blue. Let's make this green. Make this red. All right. So we could see that we're climbing the ladder real nicely. Resistance all up in here. Resistance, resistance, breakout, the flip. New high. That's that resistance here in the green. Now becomes support, right? Now we got the blue as we break above that resistance area. So we're slowly climbing that wall of worry, which is good. So that's the situation we mapped out, is ideally a little shakeout, right? We could put a VWAP at this low, which we have on the daily time frame. Sync this globally, right? And that's our month-to-date VWAP. So if we take the previous low down to here, right? Maybe we get a shakeout down into here, into this black VWAP area, and that's about the 20-day moving average. So ideally, maybe we'll hold here. I would prefer for us to get real tight, undercut it, and then that could fuel us the next leg up to push us back into this 51.45, right? Or maybe this is the shakeout right here, and we gap up in this area and start to go. But ideally, this 25% gain over in one day, I'd like to digest a little bit, get some shorts excited here, undercut this area, make the longs toss the towel in that bought the breakout above this area as it pulls back, 7 and 10% on them, maybe give them real pain back 12%, right? And that's what we talked about, that this would just then now be a retest of this area. Potentially it pulls back into this area. So everything's up for grabs. This isn't a prediction. It's just a potential scenario and where we could look to manage risk. And just leaving it off here is if this does to pull back something like this, you could go in here. Could be a bounce, nice bounce trade up into here. So if this sets up from a day trade, dive it into a lower time frame, maybe comes back in here, undercuts it and gets going. You could trade that up into this area. Maybe it makes a new high again, and then ideally resets up with that 5-day and going. Hopefully this was helpful. Enjoy.